All right, I want to welcome everyone to this morning's call. Today is going to be great. It's as you know, for all of those, because I opened up this training to the whole group. So lots of you guys don't know, but we're in our fifth week of what we're calling our Pursuit boot camp. We have been getting after it. It's been really helpful. We've been going over a tremendous amount of skills and activities and mental conditioning, all sorts of things. But today is probably one of the most important trainings that we're doing because it's a training on essentially how to be better people. And as we become better people in this business, then we're able to help more people. We can only help an amount of people by the size of our own personal development. And I think many of us that have been here for a long time understand that to be true. And so if we're ever at a plateau, we never really have to look outside of ourselves. It's always looking inside and saying, well, what am I missing? What am I lacking? What am I not doing? And as we begin to develop those areas, then we start to see that we can start to serve more people. So today is going to be great. You guys sit back, take lots of notes. We're going to dump a whole bunch on you. So if it feels like we're dumping the whole load on you, we probably are. But it's all important. And we have amazing presenters, amazing leaders within the group that's going to outline some of these things. So I'm a be quiet. I'm gonna jump out of the way. I'm just gonna show you a slide or two so that you can take a screenshot and these transformational habits of leadership. And then we'll have our leaders come on and sort of outline all of them individually to you. But they're all important. So please lock in for the next hour. I'm gonna tell you right now, we're probably going to run over, even though the presenters are going to do a great job of sticking to their times, but we're probably going to run over. But you'll want to take a lot of notes. And as you're listening to this, you'll want to think about situations in your life, whether that's just in personal life, whether that's in your business, your coaching experiences. And let's see if we can grow today, because if we can grow from this today, I think it's going to set the tone for where we're at this week. And moving forward. So let me just show you, I just want to show you one slide and then we will get into what we're going to get into. So let's see here. So you can take a screenshot of this and just make sure that you kind of know where we're at. So as you guys know, this is our week 5 Pursuit Bootcamp. And I'm really excited about today. So we're talking today about the 6 transformational habits of leadership, and here they are if you want to take a screenshot and have them down, but we're going to jump into all of these one by one. So the first habit is we lead from the future and we act from the now. Second habit, we take responsibility, we play above the line. We seek growth. Every single day, in every single way, we seek to get better, and we embrace obstacles as a way. No longer are we going to be complaining and murmuring about these challenging things and times in our life because we're not seeking growth. We know that we can only grow by fighting through the hard things. So we're actually going to start seeking those things. We connect authentically. We cultivate trust. We awaken potential, and we transform masterfully. This is what we do here at Optavia. We deliver extraordinary results, and we serve the better mankind. So what you'll notice is the first 3, those are really inner-directed. These are habits that we're working on for ourselves first. And then the last 3 is what we're going to give away to humanity. This is how we're going to really help people build full potential and build the lives that they want. So let's hop into it. Enough hearing from me. I don't want to mess up the show. Let's start hearing from some of our top leaders. So to kick things off, I want to bring on James Richard, and he's going to James Richard III, and he's going to talk to us about our first fundamental habit, which is we lead from the future and we act in the now. So James, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Yeah. So our first transformational leader we're going to discuss today is leading from the future, acting in the now. So this is one that I feel is really important. It was really interesting for me going over this one, and I think it's a good one to start because this transformational this one, it really sets the trait for everything else that's going to come into place that all the other great leaders will be talking about. But this one, it's what it is. It's our ability as leaders to create our future in all aspects of our lives. That can be in our health, in our business, in our personal, in our family lives, and whatever aspect of our lives. We as leaders, what we want to do is we stand in the future and we look at our present to see what actions are necessary now to shape our destiny so that we can act in alignment with our future. So it's important for us as leaders to practice this habit. And once we know this as leaders, once we practice this habit and we get good with this, it's important for us to be able to teach this or to really know what our clients want, what's their goals, what are their, not only our clients, but our coaches, what are their goals, what are their dreams, what is it that they want so that we can help them or so that they can take action in order to reach it. So I thought it'd be good for us to actually do an exercise. So we're gonna practice. So we got our notes, our paper pens out. So to begin, we're going to think about where you will be in 1 year from now. And what we're going to do is we're going to paint a compelling picture of that future of our lives. And what does that feel like for us? What does that look like for us? So we're going to think 1 year from today. So today is December 4th, 2017, but we're going to go 1 year from today. So December 4th, 2018. What does that look like for you? What is your goals? What do you want? What do you want to accomplish by then in 1 year from now? So we're going to do an exercise. So we're going to take good notes here. So we're going to take a trip to the future. I was thinking back to the future. We're going to take a trip to the future, and we're going to travel in time. We're going to dream. So first thing is we're going to write down. So we're thinking a year from now, December 4th, 2018. Who is it that you want to become? So let's write this down as who do you want to become 1 year from today? And we're going to go over these really quick so we don't have a lot of time to write, but just really quick. December 14th, 1 year from now, who do you want to become? In your health. So we're gonna cover a couple. This can be any aspect of our lives, but we're going to focus on our health and also in our business and our personal life. So in your health, who do you want to become? I know for myself, a person leading from example, set an example with my health. How about your business? Who do you want to become in your business 1 year from now? Quickly write down 1 year from now, who do you want to be in your business? Or who have you become 1 year from now? Remember, guys, we're envisioning, we're dreaming 1 year from now. Okay, and we're going to move on. The second question is, what have I done? What have I done 1 year from now? And this is let's focus on our health. What have I done 1 year from now in my health? I know for myself, I've created healthy one year from now. I've created healthy eating habits, nutritional balanced diet. I've reached my goal. I've built my maintained my goal weight, 8 to 9% body fat. I've built on lean muscle mass. And in your business, what have you done in your business 1 year from now? 1 year from now, I'm still doing my daily action steps, my 5x5, my self-development. I'm working on building myself, on growing, becoming a transformational leader. I'm reading 2 books a month, growing myself, developing my mind. And then the last one is what have I achieved? So travel in time 1 year from today, December 4th, 2018. What have you achieved in your health? What does that look like? Your body, your health goals. 1 year from now, I'm still maintaining my goal weight. I've prevented any kind of preventable diseases from living a healthy lifestyle. I'm maintaining my healthy lifestyle. And then what about in your business? What have you achieved in your business? It's important for us to really, like this you can do you can go 1 year, you can go 5 years. For this exercise, we're doing 1 year. But to be able to lead from the future, it's important that we like I said, we time travel, we go into the future, and we really focus on what is it that where we want to be, and what we have accomplished, whether that's 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. As a coach, supporting your clients, when you know what they want and what's their goal and what's their vision, and you help them to imagine and figure out what's their destiny, and you understand that, and they express that to you, then you and your client, they stop making bad choices that's not going to help them to get to where they want to be. So now that we've written down some of that, we've encapsulated our future, we've reflected on those experiences, and we've thought about our futures and where we want to be. Just a second. All right. Can you sense your future self? Is the picture of your future, is it so clear to you? When we have a powerful vision of our future that we wish to create, then we can change our thinking, and our shifts allow us to act in the future as if it's already happened, because that picture is so clear to us. It's so clear that we can see it. It's like it's already happened. So in other words, we create a vision for the person we want to be, and then we act in accordance with that future self to bring an alignment between the two. So now that we're clear about our future and our vision, so the second part of this exercise is as your future self, we're going to reflect back on the present. What have you stopped doing? So this is the second part of exercise, is what have you stopped doing? What have you started doing? And are you continuing to do more to become more the person you already are in the future? So now we're going to get into action. So we're still in the future, but now we're looking back on our present self 1 year from now. So now that we're in action, now we're going to continue writing down what have you stopped. So let's go back to our health. As far as our health, what have we stopped in our health? I stopped missing my workouts. I had no more excuses for I'm too tired or I'm too lazy to do my workouts. I stopped eating unhealthy, stopped making excuses. How about in your business? What have you stopped doing in your business? Let's write that down. For myself, I stopped thinking 1 year from today, my future self, looking back on my present self. I stopped fearing what other people think of me and not letting that stop me from talking to others. The second question is, what have I started? Or what have you started in your health? What have you started in your health? And then in your business, what have you started in your business? This can also be in your personal life, in your everyday personal life, in your family life. What is it that you started? And then our third question is, what have you continued more of? What have you continued more of in your health? I've continued doing alternative workouts. Now, not only just the everyday in the gym, but now I'm mountain climbing. I'm doing marathons. I'm training for marathons, full marathons. What about in your business? What have you continued to do more of in your business? I've continued to growing to being a business leader, to growing myself, to developing myself, to developing my mind. So when what you choose from your future is more important than what you are right now. This habit is important because practicing this habit as leaders, what it does is set the pace for all the other habits that we're going to talk about. As leaders, we must know what our clients and our coaches want. We must know what are their goals, what are their visions, what are their dreams. Because once we know that, and we can help them to visualize that, once we can help them to paint the picture of what they want and see it so clearly as though it has happened, like it's already here, then we can get into action. Then we can do the work. We can do it anyways. And this is something that as leaders, once we can help our other coaches and to really do this, then we can grow tremendous businesses. That we're going to do the work no matter what it takes. No matter if you're tired, no matter if you had an argument with your spouse, a divorce, the house flooded, no matter what happens, you're going to do the work anyways because it's so clear to you, and you're going to do whatever it takes to get there. So come with me, no matter what happens, we're going to do the work. And that's why I really appreciate this one and think that this is a good trait as habits that we have to learn, because once we figure this one out and we teach our clients and our coaches how to do this, then we can build tremendous businesses. And I think it's a really important one. So I want to thank you all for listening and for doing that exercise with me. Appreciate it.
All right, strong. Thanks so much, James. So that's habit number one, you guys. So we lead from the future, we act in the now. There's no way that we can just internally reach any goals without first seeing it and creating it and coming back and doing the most important thing, which is the work. So I love it, man. Appreciate your time, brother. Let's come right here in my own house and let's talk about habit number two, which is we take responsibility, we play above the line. And I'm going to ask my wife, Amanda, to come on and share some time on this one, because this one, no doubt, is important. Remember, these first three are all about us. Success is an internal job. And if it doesn't start from inside, then there's no way we can give it away. So, Amanda, are you there?
Good morning. I'm here.
Good morning. All right.
Bear with me. I'm kind of losing my voice here. So I'm really excited to be on with you this morning. I'm normally a little more behind the scenes. First of all, I want to thank James. Didn't he do a great job? I think he did a really great job on that one. So I'm excited because I'm usually a little more behind the scenes. And Jamil asked me to come on this morning and share with you about habit number two. And back in 2015 is when I personally was introduced to the 6 habits of transformational leadership. And for me, it was more of a pivotal moment. I was already working on myself, but learning these habits really changed things for me. And so I'm excited to talk about habit number 2, which is taking responsibility and playing above the line. Now let's take a second and think about that. What does that mean? Take responsibility and play above the line. Okay, so there's 3 components to this habit. The first one is being aware of below and above the line thinking. So what is below and above the line thinking? Okay, so fun thing is Lori Anderson printed out a little handout at this last Sundance, and she gave it out to everyone. And so I'm just going to briefly show it to you guys, but we can have this up in the group later so you could take more, notes on it. But it's got the line, and it says above the line thinking and below the line thinking. So when we're below the line, we have fear. We play the victim. We have failure in our mind. We have excuses, judgment. We're stuck. We react. We blame. There's uncertainty. So above the line thinking there's action, solutions, acceptance, love. We take responsibility for our actions. There's clarity and there's hope. So being real clear on what above the line thinking and below the line thinking is key here. Also, another component to that is understanding the drama triangle. Now, when I heard this, I was like, what does that mean? The drama triangle. So there was another diagram drawn, and I'm just going to show you my ugly notes from Sundance, but I love it. So it's the drama triangle, and we've got the victim, the villain, and the hero. So what does that mean? So oftentimes in situations, we play one of three or all three, two or all three of these roles. And the hero is someone who wants to rescue. We want to go in and rescue that person. We want to be the hero. We want to, take the credit or whatnot. The villain blames. The villain is the one that's pointing that finger, that's blaming the other person, blaming everyone, blaming the world. And the victim is the one who's feeling sorry for themselves. The one who's, woe is me, this always happens to me, that whole bit. Now, we all do it. I still do it sometimes and have to check myself. And those three roles, we can end up playing one or all three. There was a time back, 2015 prior, even sometimes now, I take on two roles. I take on that victim and I take on that villain because I'm, woe is me. Why is he treating me like that? Why are the kids doing this to me? And then I'm that villain of, it's because you didn't do this or you didn't do that. But it's knowing what that is and flipping it. So understanding that drama triangle. So another component to this is, so knowing how to make that shift to above the line thinking as opposed to that below the line thinking. So what does that mean? Okay, so here's where I want you to take out your pen. I see you guys writing, and I'm sorry if I'm talking fast. I have a lot to cover in such a short amount of time. But so there's some questions that we can ask ourselves. Now, real quick, well, let's cover these questions first. So the questions that we can ask ourselves. So when we're in that moment, so when we think back of a situation where we were below the line thinking and playing that role of the villain or the victim or, the hero, we can dissect that situation and ask ourselves these questions. What was wrong? Who is to blame? How did you fix it? Am I going too fast? Okay, sorry. So what was wrong? Who is to blame? How did you fix it? The next one is, how did you feel about it? And what is your unconscious habit of falling into the drama triangle? So what role are you taking on? Okay, so that was these questions that you're asking yourself in the below the line thinking situation. So now to flip that is you take that same situation and you ask yourself these questions. What happened? What's missing? Sorry, I'll slow down. What's missing and what's next? So how can we move from this? All right, give me a thumbs up when we're ready, when you're with me. All right, cool. I see most thumbs up. All right, so how much time do I have left? Like a minute. Okay, so these three components. So it's identifying our below and above the line thinking, understanding that drama triangle, and then making that shift. So just to give you a little, example, like how we can apply this for me personally, I had to apply it to me directly, my life, to the kids, to Jamil, to everything, the way in which I interacted with my sisters, and really go from there. And then when you start making these shifts and start really, and now we're calling this a habit because you're constantly practicing this. I mean, I had to practice it, the other day with the kids, just on Saturday. And so we work on this daily. And in 2015, I constantly was playing the victim and the villain, constantly. And now the reaction time of flipping that is where it would take me maybe days to flip and take responsibility for my own part in maybe the argument with Jamil, or the, blow up at the kids. And now I can recognize what happened in that situation, what was missing on my part. So taking that personable responsibility for my actions. Classic is leaving that cup of juice on the table and telling the kids, be careful, be careful, be careful. And then it spilled. Well, whose fault was that? That was mine for putting that cup of juice on the table when I know I have kids that are just like me and clumsy. Like, it's going to be spilled. So for me to then yell at them for spilling that juice, well, that's pretty silly, because I was the one that put that juice on the table and then expected them to not spill. So, taking that responsibility, playing above the line. So to wrap it up, it's something that we are constantly working on, something that we apply to ourselves, and then we can apply to our business. So then taking that, and when we're working with a coach or a client, where, what have you, taking that responsibility for, maybe a client blew up at you. So really dissecting that situation, using these questions of what happened, what's missing, and what's next. So we don't let ourselves slip down, feel like we're a failure. I failed that person. I can't do this. No. Bring yourself back above that line. You know what? I messed up. My bad. Let's move forward. So thanks. I hope that was helpful. I'm sorry if I went over. And we can post some of these, diagrams and whatnot in the group. So thank you.
I love it. So strong. Amanda, that was so good. Um, this to me is one of the most important. You cannot be a leader without taking full responsibility. I don't know any other way of saying it. And I wanted to skimp around this one for years, and it's an impossibility. And I can just tell you from in my own household, we've grown so much stronger because we've learned to do this. We're not great at it still. We still have a lot of work, but it's getting stronger and stronger. So I would strongly encourage you to write this down. Take 100% responsibility for every single thing that happens to you. Once you begin to do that, life is so freeing. And just speaking from a business context, one of the things that we can get wrapped up in so much is blame. I didn't reach 6,000 in frontline volume because my clients pushed all their orders back. Well, whose fault is that? That's my fault. I didn't reach FIBC because it's November and December. My coaches disappeared. Well, whose fault is that? That's my fault. Every single thing that happens to us, good or bad, is our fault. And once you can get to that place, then it's like you begin to realize there's no limitations because you're in full control. No, it's no one else's fault. You can always control the good things that happen to you. It's amazing. It took me a long time to do this. I blamed my mentorship, my coaches, the world, Amanda, the kids, my clients, the weather, traffic, you name it, it got blamed. And once you get to a place developmentally to where you learn that that's just not serving, then life becomes very, very easy. Amazing job. Okay, so let's go and let's attack the third transformational habit of leadership, which is we seek growth and we embrace obstacles as a way. And as I started to learn how to do this one, our organization literally exploded because first it starts with us. So as we start to explode and develop, you'll see that your organizations will too. So I want to bring on Eric and Jessica Rosales to really bring to light this third habit of leadership. So Rosales says, are you guys there this morning?
Good morning.
Good morning. All right. I'm starting your timer.
You picked the perfect one for us, Jamil.
I had a feeling.
So we're gonna take you on a little personal journey. I mean, this topic is spot on, but we've been doing this for almost 3 years now. 2016, about April, was the first time we hit ED, and pretty much maintained ED throughout that whole year. And then the challenges started coming, right? There's the obstacles. It's either you're gonna grow. There's two paths that usually happen when the obstacle appears, and it's, as you grow and learn, it's what's needed to grow. And back then we were playing a lot of below the line thinking. Thanks, Amanda, that was a good one. But by January of this year, 2017, our personal front line, basically tanked to senior coach. We were having so many challenges in our relationship, our communication. We just basically lived below the line at that point. And it was the major obstacle. Like, where are we going to go here? There was a lot of, is this what we want to do? Can we do this? A lot of chatter. Beginning of February, we sat down at dinner, just Jessica and myself, and we talked finally and communicated and expressed, and we said, is this what we want? What do we want? Obviously, it more than was what we wanted. So we decided to embrace the obstacle finally and seek the growth. And 2 months later, we were regional director through major back issues, which she's about to get into. But, that was end of March. And then we roll into April where she'll kind of go into that.
Yeah, there was this obstacle facing me personally. I had a major back injury that it derailed me for a long time, and moving past depression and moving past a lot of self-doubt were my obstacles. I didn't think that I was capable of doing this business to the degree that we needed this business to go. And I wallowed for a while, you guys, and I feel like that's why January tanked the way that it did, because I didn't move past some of these things. After the talk that Eric and I had in February, I feel like it opened a new light on what we needed to do. I made the decision finally to have back surgery. That was a huge decision process and not something that you enter in lightly. By making those decisions in February and identifying we're going to move through these obstacles, we're going to tackle them, we're not going to let them control us. I laid on the floor and made client calls. I laid on the floor and connected with our new coaches, because we, in March, I think had brought on 5 new coaches. And so moving into surgery in April, I worked from the hospital. I did not stop, you guys. Like, these are big things, and big things happen. They happen to us all. You're not invincible. life happens to everyone. And for us, it was important to identify these things and make every stride we could to get over them. And since we've had more obstacles and more life happening, but we're moving in a pace that is what we desire. And I think identifying those goals, you guys, is like when obstacles appear, when your goals are so strong, this is why we open up everyone's why. When that why is big, those obstacles don't matter as much. We're going for growth. We're going for better. So we really focus on moving through those challenges.
And that, leads us to present day, where because of these decisions we made in January and February, what's obviously going to happen for the next growth and the next step in our personal growth, business growth, another challenge came, which was I had a life-changing event at my day job and decided that it was time to not have a day job anymore. And thankfully for the decisions we made then, it allowed the decision that was recently made just a couple of weeks ago so seamless, where there was no stress over what are we going to do? How are we going to survive? What's going to happen? It was actually excitement of, wow, look at how much more time we're going to have to grow, to give, to become. So, it wasn't as big of an obstacle anymore as it was in February. This obstacle was like we wanted it. We embraced it. We were like, wow, this is going to put us to the next step. So once you shift that mindset of, like Amanda said, playing the victim, playing all these different roles, and embrace it and say, wow, this is just the next step into where we're ready to go. So that was a huge shift for us. It's changed everything for us finishing off 2017. It's brought us to where when the way we, can express that to our team and our clients, and, when they're struggling on day 3 with a headache, we're like, this is great. This is great. Fat burn is right there. Like, this is the most amazing thing you could be saying. Where before it might be like, oh my gosh, are you okay? What can we do? This is awesome. This is amazing. Same thing with the coaches. When things come up, we're like, wow, you're ready. This is the next step. This is great. Are you ready? Like, let's go, So just staying above the line, embracing these obstacles, because they are put there to take you to that next step. So that's
yeah, I want to add this. We were talking about growth, and like when our coaches reach this point of throwing their hands in the air and like, I've had life happen. It's hard. I can't do this. Tony shared this with me at the beginning of this year. When it seems like when we hit those moments is when growth is about to happen. We are forced to push ourselves. We are forced at that point to see what we are made of. And if we are made of the right makeup, we will grow. But it is our responsibility to push through that.
And like Jamal always says, that's only if you desire to grow.
It.
So that's the habit number 3.
So good. Write this down for me, please. As I was listening to you guys, I thought a lot about a lot of things, not only my own personal journey, but so many of the coaches that I've had the opportunity to work with here. There's no way, there's no, first of all, nothing is for free. It's just not going to happen. So there's no way you could set these big lofty goals and not have challenges come up. It's almost like the universe is going to say, you can have this, but you have to prove it first. And the challenge is most people run away. They're not seeking growth. Listen to that word. I seek growth. That means every single day I'm looking to become more. And once you understand that there's no way you can become more without having a whole bunch of stuff happen, then you're not murmuring about it. So when something crazy happens, you're not complaining about it. You're thankful for it. And it's a completely different way of looking at obstacles. One, being be extremely depressed about it, or two, being extremely happy about it, because there's no way of getting what you want without going through the obstacles. So this is what it means for the obstacle to become the way. Listen to me. If you don't want much, that's fine. You don't have to become much. You can sit there and have the same kind of little infrastructure of a life, but that is not what Optavia coaches are about. We seek growth. We embrace obstacles of the way. That is so strong. Let's go to habit number 4, which is we awaken. So remember, the first 3 habits are all about who? Us. This is an internal job. If you want massive success, guess who you got to work on first? You. Now, the next 3 is all about how can we start giving this away? How can we start impacting the lives and truly being agents of transformation? And so I want to bring on Nicole Stricker to talk to us about how we connect authentically and how we cultivate trust. So let me find Nicole here. All right, Nicole, you there?
I just unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me on. I first wanted to share, just for all of you, if you're looking for additional resources, if you really want to dive into these habits, there's some really great resources on Optavia Learn. I love worksheets. So, each of these habits is available to us on that website. It will go over, what it is, and it will also give you some activities to do to really dive into it. So that's what I'm going to be sharing from today as we talk about habit number 4. We connect authentically and we cultivate trust. So this is really the foundation of what we do. We connect with people and we love on people authentically. So this habit reminds us that as Optavia coaches and leaders, we always come from a place of empathy and compassion for others. So as soon as, and you can think about this as we're bringing on clients. So from the moment that we bring on clients into our community, we are leaders. We are helping them succeed on their journey. And to do that, it's really, really important that we're building a relationship through meaningful connections and conversations with them, and really being present with them and just simply listening, intently to one another. And I've learned over time, this is a skill. This is really a skill that we need to develop to really, truly get into somebody else's world and to feel what they're feeling and to listen to them. That's a whole nother type of listening. So when most people think about connecting authentically with others, they think about what they're going to say and what they're going to say next. And I can tell you from experience, this is what I used to do all the time. I remember doing some of my first Explore calls, and I would listen to what they were saying, but really in my head, it was like, oh yeah, me too. Or I was always thinking about what I was going to say next, which really, truly took me out of that conversation. And at that point, it was really more about me. So as Optavians, connecting authentically means being there for them, listening to them with everything that you are. And it's really, like I was sharing, it's a deliberate shift out of yourself and into their world. So as an Optavia leader, when you focus on another person, trust yourself to be present first. Then begin cultivating that person's trust by demonstrating to others that you're present by listening and feeding back what they shared with you. So we've all been through, training on how to do Explore calls. And if we can really think about some of our most recent Explore calls that we've done, ask yourself those questions. How much of the talking were you doing in those conversations? So when we talk about feeding back the information to them, that's really showing the other person that you're in their world and you heard them, you understood them, and that you were listening intentionally. So just as an example, think about doing an explore call, and you're listening to them, and you're hearing, where they're at in their current state of health. Maybe they're 50 pounds overweight, and it's been 15 years since they felt their healthiest. They can barely move around. It's impacting their relationships. So as you're hearing those things, it's really important to kind of replay that back to them and say something like, so what I'm hearing is that it's been a really, really long time since you felt your healthiest, maybe 15 years or so. And what you would really like to create is a better life for you and your family. So that's just an example for you. But, thinking about connecting authentically really made me think of our explore calls, because that's really where it begins. That's where the relationship begins. Most oftentimes, if it's somebody that we don't know right away, that's really how we can start cultivating the trust. Some of the other things that I've thought about when thinking about connecting authentically is really honoring your word and staying true to your word and doing what you say you're going to do. So if you say you're going to, call your client Monday morning for a check-in call, you're honoring your word in doing that. And that's also how we cultivate trust. Another thing that I thought of was when I think about authenticity, if I were to look back, probably a year and a half or so ago, I was really struggling on my personal health journey. And I detached a little bit from my clients because I had this concept that I had to be the perfect coach. And I felt like I was living a lie. And the moment that I made the shift to really just authentically connect with my clients and share with them that I too was going through struggles is really where things started to turn around again for my business. So really it's just about, living from your heart and being genuine, not being afraid to fail, not being afraid of what people are thinking of you. And that's really going to attract people to you because you're human. Nobody's expecting you to be perfect. So that's something, this habit has really, really helped me in my journey. And so I challenge you, I'm sure many of you have either client check-in calls today or explore calls scheduled today, and really take the time during those calls and just listen, sit back and listen to your client, listen to your candidate share where they are, listen to your client share what successes they had. And then also practice, the other skill of playing it back for them, and saying, this is what I heard. And wow, it's not about us, and as Jamil was saying, this is really where we make that shift of outside of ourselves and into their world. Thank you.
So strong. Thank you so much. This is good stuff, huh? This is good stuff. As I think about this habit of transformation, this extends well before maybe a client or a coach will come into your organizations. I mean, this is something, my coach, again, used to always tell me, fall in love with their stories, but we're able to do that with anyone, right? Whether it's our kids or a coworker or a grandma who just sort of needs someone to be there and listen to her for 20 minutes. It can be anyone, but connecting authentically is falling in love with their story and giving them space, because that is something that the majority of people just don't have. Most people are thinking, I want you to know about me, and not the other way around. So that is so good. All right. So number 4, our fourth transformational habit of leadership that we'll dive into is we awaken potential and we transform masterfully. Listen to me. Once we understand to start to do this, it is not going to be hard to have large organizations. This is something that as leaders, we want to do, not only in our households, but as we start to build our Optavia businesses. So I want to bring on Justin Navini to really outline and spearhead this one for us. So Justin, are you there?
Yes, sir. Everybody awake?
Yes, sir.
about this time, everybody starts falling asleep on us. Even you guys that got your videos off. We awake? Thumbs up. Dion, come on, get a smile in there. There we go. All right. I just wanted to catch everybody up because it's late into this. You guys are doing an amazing job. But I really want to talk about this. So awakening potential, this is one of my favorite things. And then transforming masterfully. This is one of the hugest things that allow us also to grow as a person, but really dive into somebody else's life. You know, as I'm sitting here hearing all these amazing speakers, kind of steal some of my ideas. No, just kidding. That's below the line. I just want to share with you guys. So really the thing is being more interested than interesting. And this really goes back to, and especially for me coming into this more for the business aspect. And I really get that point across every time I talk to you guys, because I want you guys to hear that this is not a weight loss company. And it's a hard transformation. So we have to hear it over and over again to do that. But as we kind of get into this, guys, you know, being empathetic, being compassionate, being curious. We always talk about asking questions. This is where you really get into people's emotions and awaken potential. Really get into what they're missing in life and have them start to see and believe things. I'll give you a great example. I grew up in the construction world. My bosses were very negative driving people. They want you to be able to lead people, but they keep you in this hermit space of you're an idiot, that was done wrong, this, or that, because they don't want you to grow. So for us as transformational leaders, we want to create the foundation of what an Optavia leader is by empowering people, giving them the hope and the faith when they don't believe it at that moment. Believing in them because you've already walked that walk. When we tell a client we're going to partner with you, it's the same thing as a coach, right? We're going to partner with you because we've already done the program. We've walked the walk. We've talked the talk. We've had our own struggles. We've had our ups and downs. We were up 2 pounds in the middle of the week and weighed ourselves when we weren't supposed to, right? These are things where we need to really awaken their potential. So ask them questions. You know, who do I want to become, right? Who do I want to become? Well, what have you done to get there? And these are questions I'm slowing down to talk about because I want you guys to kind of write these down and really think about when you're asking people stuff, client or coach. And remember this, it leads from the beginning before they're even a client. A client will eventually become a coach because everybody in life needs this. These 3 key areas, healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances, they need all 3 areas to be successful. Maybe not to quit their job and do this full time, but to find a balance. $500 or $1,000 helps them to focus on themselves, less stress, able to focus on their health. They all correlate. So what have they achieved so far? What are they good at? Help them see what they're good at. You know, I'll give you a real quick analogy that, you know, I don't know the team because I'm not a sports fan, but a manager came into this baseball team and he asked the pitcher, you know, what are your good pitches? What's your number 1 pitch? And he's like, well, I got a good curveball. I got a good fastball. He's like, no. What is your number 1 pitch if you could pick? And he says, a fastball. And he goes, okay, I want you to practice that every day. Just your fastball. They ended up going to the World Series after like 40 years of not even getting into the playoffs. So we want to awaken their potential, find the things that they're good at, but then also empower them in areas they're weak in. I know for me, poor Jamil at the beginning, you know, he probably saw an energy in me that, you know, some of you guys try to keep up with. No, I'm just kidding. He just saw an energy in me, but my skills lacked heavily. But he empowered me. He showed me how to use a computer, how to get on Facebook, how to do these things. So this is really awakening things. So we talk about like micro habits. So that's, you know, getting on Facebook, living out loud, right? We want people to see what's possible for them. Maybe it's not about us. Don't be nervous about getting on Facebook because it's not about you. That's a thing. We're talking unplugged here, right? This is Punakana. So it's not about you to get on Facebook. Don't be nervous. Be a real tangible person. When you get on and say you're nervous, that's awesome because that means somebody else doesn't think you're on a pedestal and they can't do it either. That's a huge shift. You know, throw out random text messages to support people. If you're not used to doing it, do it anyways. Lead by example. This is huge for us. When you're waking potential, you're not just getting in the moment when we're on a Zoom call and you're talking to that client or coach or that potential client or coach in that moment. From then on, they're watching you, seeing things they're able to transform in their life. So what have I achieved? Here's another question. What have I achieved, right? I mentioned that a second ago, but what have you achieved so far? And they're going to probably tell you. And take the time to transform this slowly. You know, we get so into bringing on coaches and things, but slow it down a little bit. Micro habits are huge, baby steps. Usually, and I'll be honest with you guys, if a coach or a client falls off, it was because something that was so simple that we overlook because we so focus on the program or the action steps that we don't see what that small thing was that stopped them. That one really close friend that had a better trust cultivated with them than you did. And they said, wow, you're doing that stupid program? Yeah, that's kind of dumb. That's simple. And they checked out. They're done. And you're over here saying, hey, how are we doing with our actions today? Hey, how's it going? Instead of just saying, how you doing? How you doing? So these micro habits, guys. So here's a cool thing. What have I stopped? What have I started? And what have I now continued more of? These are questions you can ask yourselves because we need to get better at this too, right? This is a roundabout circle. Just like when we tell a client, I'm drinking my water because I'm asking you if you're drinking your water. These are the same things we ask ourselves. So what have I stopped? What have I started? And what have I continued more of? These are questions you can ask people, you know? This is a way that, and James did a great example of that. That's why I was joking about stealing my ideas. But, you know, leading from the future in a year from now, right? This is a huge thing, guys. Leading from the future, acting in the now. So these are things that you want to do. So transforming masterfully, we want to take the time to help them. Jamil took the time to help me in areas that I was weak in, but he edified the areas that I was strong in. I wasn't afraid to go talk to people. I wasn't afraid of somebody telling me no. I didn't care if you called me stupid or whatever for quitting my job. I didn't care, but my skills were lacking. So we lift each other up. That's also another thing. We lift each other up. We get enough negative in this world. We don't need it. We don't need it from here, right? So lift each other up. Focus on the strengths of somebody. Transforming them masterfully is filling in those maybe weaker links that they can improve on. You know, one of the best things Kim Fisk ever told me was practice makes permanent. Practice makes permanent. It doesn't make perfect because you can always get better. Always get better. So with that being said, guys, awakening potential, really, really breathe life into people. Nicole Stricker did an amazing job of saying stepping into their world. Breathe life into people. Awaken their potential. But that starts with you as living out loud, posting on Facebook, being consistent daily. Great example. Well, my coaches are disappearing. Well, where have you been? Well, my coaches aren't going to events. Well, where have you been? Well, my coaches aren't getting on boot camps. Well, where have you been? Same with clients. Well, my clients are falling off. Well, how are you serving them? Are we on the phone or are we texting them? Are we emotionally invested in them? Or are they just a quick message here or there? Did we really build that relationship with them? Did we really awaken their potential for what they could do physically? You know, it's not just coach driven either, but did we awaken their potential, what they could do physically? Did we ask them the right questions? Or did we just tell them how the program is going to help them? We didn't awaken anything. If we awakened it, they'd probably still be around. Either which way. You know, and we can only get better for ourselves. You know, I'm a long ways away from anything. I think my energy saved me through some of my ups and downs as far as being a coach. And what I mean by that is just being excited for people. that can help awaken people too. So lead from the front, guys. Play above the line, awaken their potential, transform masterfully. Take that time, slow it down. Micro habits. If you guys get anything out of what I just said today, micro habits, baby steps. So these are amazing questions, guys. I would ask you guys to go back and start asking coaches, ask clients, ask friends, right? We're talking about cultivating trust. Ask people you don't really know some of these questions. Be more curious. Be more curious. So I think my time's up, Jamil.
Perfect, man. I appreciate your time on that. Once I learned how to do this, we went from, being executive directors to 2.5, 3 months later going to global. And the only thing that I learned is how to look into someone's soul and help them see themselves bigger than they are. But the truth of the matter is, people are incredible and they can accomplish anything that they want to. There's not one thing in this world that they cannot accomplish. The challenge is they just don't believe that. And so this is where you become an actual coach and you help them understand that they're amazing. They come from a source that's infinite and they are infinite as well. And once you can help people start to understand that, there's not anything that they cannot do. You mean to tell me that a person who's maybe servicing a few clients, and once they believe it, it will take maybe 10 days for them to grow to executive director. But all it is mental conditioning. So this is where we can come in and really help them. Let's close this thing out with really talking about mankind. And that's why I'm so excited about what we do and who we are as Optavia coaches and leaders, because we can impact the world. I truly believe that. So there's no one better to talk about this than my business coach. The woman has taught me so much. So Karen Elstrom, can you end it for us and bring it home?
I will. Thank you. And I really love this habit number 6, deliver extraordinary results. Serve to better mankind, not ordinary results, extraordinary results. And this habit really starts with integrating clients and really understanding the importance of integrating clients. You really have to deliver extraordinary client support, right? It really starts there. Sometimes people get so focused on so many things. Without extraordinary client support, the rest just kind of falls apart. And really assisting them to engage in certain things within our system that will create a more integrated client, which we know will then create a more integrated coach. We want to be examples and really encourage them to really focus on the habits of health system, listening to podcasts, integrating into our community, opt into Optavia 30. And really the process of client integration, I think, is so important. And this is really where our community comes in, and inviting them into healthy happy hours and 3-way Facebook text messages with our mentor and another layer of support. And teaching them, and I love this too, because when I first became a coach, we would ask for referrals for us. It wasn't to help them become a coach necessarily. But now we've totally made a shift in our mindset, and we ask for referrals to help them create their own community, because in just a quick minute, they're going to have their own little team of clients that they can start coaching right away. And I really, really love that. And really creating relationships that you're talking to them on the phone, not just texting. It's back to creating extraordinary service. And then, of course, the third thing is now you're going to be growing a powerful team of coaches. So think about this for you. What is the DNA of your organization? What's the culture? What is the community? Are you having fun? And you may think this, and this, when I talk about the DNA for your organization, I'm talking for you and your team. You're on Jamel's team, you're on my team. We have an amazing team. but what are you portraying? What are you creating for your team? Because guess what? You are going to create a huge team, and you're the leader of that team. So what are you duplicating? Be really, really clear on what you want, because you know what you focus on is what you grow. So what is the number one factor? And back to that, I just wanted to say, write this down. Like, think about what you want for your organization and write that down. So you have in front of you in writing exactly what it is you want, and that will evolve for sure. The number one factor in determining growth and team building is what? Sponsoring, right? And you want to win with results. And back to what you train and talk about, that's what's going to grow. So really help them sponsor by doing 3-way calls, training calls to help them reach senior coach. And one of the things that I think is really important is to really get a buy-in from a new coach. And what that looks like is, you know, Susie, I am really willing to invest my time in your business. I am willing to invest my time in your business. In exchange for that, I'm asking for a commitment from you. For the next 6 weeks, I really want to work hand in hand, side by side, and I want you to commit to a few things. And that would be the leadership calls, the Habit of Health webinar, our team trainings, and really stay connected. I know I've talked to a lot of coaches over time that feel really frustrated. Maybe this hasn't happened to any of you, but we enroll a new coach and then we don't hear from them again, right? Or it's really difficult to connect with them. And they tell me, Karen, they said they wanted to do something. They said they wanted to create a business. But did we actually have a commitment with them? Like, did we actually tell them, I'm willing to invest my time in your business, and in exchange for that, let's make an agreement. And then at 6 weeks, let's do a systems check. Are they doing health assessments? Are they ordering their clients' orders correctly? Teach them how to use their map and understand the blended path. Remember, we are offering extraordinary results, and all of these things, when we do a system check, will help to create an amazing coach on your team. You want to teach them how to integrate their clients, just like you. Remember duplication. Teach them how to start conversations on social media with how Optavia has blessed their life. Start sharing, guess what? The 6 habits of transformational leadership. Because the goal here is really to build trust, to really show up for them, care about them, and creating relationships. Everyone before me today gave such great information on creating relationships, because that really is what this business is about. Know their why. Think about their why. We did a little exercise, and I so loved this in Sundance. We had certain people stood up, and they talked about the why of someone on their team. This why kept them up at night. It was so compelling. Know the why of every single person on your team, because our goal is really to partner with them to help them get it, to help them really achieve. And now you have something to remind them if things didn't go great for them that day or that week. Help them focus back to what it is that is really important. And even for all of us, be sure you know your why and you're really clear on your why. Because not every day can be a great day. Sometimes it could be discouraging, but boom, you get laser focused back to your why and you continue to move forward. With your coaches and clients, do the little extra things, to make them feel really special, remembering their birthday, or catch them doing something really great and acknowledge and celebrate them. And our goal is really to duplicate. You don't have to be the hero. Amanda talked about the hero. It's like, I'm coming to save the day. Let me do that for you. Oh, sure. Here, I can do that for you. Yeah, let me do this for you. Instead of duplicating and teaching them how to get to their goals, how to solve the problem, how to create duplication so then they can in turn do the same for their people. And I love this too. It's like, sponsor up. Avoid sponsoring people that just drain you. Do any of you have clients or coaches like that? It's exhausting. And I think especially as a newer coach, we're so excited. We just want everyone to be part of what we're doing. We want everyone to be a coach. And sometimes you'll have a call with someone and they're just negative Nancy. Maybe this just isn't for them. And think about this. Right now, what I'd like you to do is think about a leader that you've heard or you've seen that you would love to have on your team. You just go, oh man, if I had someone like this, it'd be amazing. Write their name down. And after this call, we're not going to take time to do it right now. After this call, what I'd like you to do is make a list of all the things about this leader that you find inspiring and compelling and why you would like someone like that on your team. And now start looking for people like that. And really sponsor up. Bring people on better than you. It's pretty exciting. And remember, you want to duplicate your efforts. We talk a lot about that, but it's so true. By doing your first few explore calls for them, then half and half with them, and now you're going to listen to them. And really, really important, remember feedback. Because we're here to serve. We're here to serve mankind, and the more we can duplicate, and we can duplicate extraordinary results, the more people will serve in such an amazing way. And remember, three-way calls is how you transfer your skills. And I think this morning, on this call right now, what a great example of transferring leadership skills, right? Everyone that has spoken this morning started off as a client on our program. And here they are, duplicating skills, right? You do not want to leave anything to chance. This is your business. So you want to do it for them. You want to do it with them. You want to watch them do it. Then watch them train it, which is exactly what you're seeing this morning. So I really love that. And remember to inspect what you expect. And this is really important. Are you setting goals for your organization every month? I don't care if you just have 2 clients. Set your goals. Stretch your goals. Do you know how many new clients have joined your team each month? Keep track of that. And each month you'll want to increase that, but you want to know where you are. Do you know how many new coaches that have joined your team this month? You'll want to know all the details of your business. And what's really cool is you can print that out and you can have it, but set your goals so you know exactly where you are. Any time of the month, I could say, hey, Mary, how many coaches have you added to your team this month? And you would know. The more you know, the better your team is going to be. The more people you can help, the better your extraordinary results will be. So make a plan for your team and then just continue to build a dream for them. Be the visionary until you transfer that skill and teach your coaches how to be visionaries for their team. Keep your team winning and it's going to thrive. And remember, we really get to choose. Do you want to be ordinary or do you want to choose to be extraordinary and to better serve mankind? What I'd like to do really quick before we finish is I have this little scorecard and I'm going to read these questions. Well, they're not really questions. They're kind of where you are. It's kind of like a check, okay? It's a leadership check right in this moment. And I will put these questions in the group so you can see what you were answering. But I'm going to read them now, and I would like you to score yourself on each one. There's just 6 on a scale from 1 to 5. 1 is absolutely not. 5 is absolutely yes, and anywhere in between. And this will kind of give you a little bit of insight as to where you are and maybe where you want to work harder. So the first one is on a scale from 1 to 5, I see the results I deliver as extraordinary. 1 would be absolutely not. 5 would be absolutely yes, or anywhere in between. So give yourself a score. The second one is I consistently set new goals to create incremental growth in me and others. Scale from 1 to 5. The next one is I am mission driven. The next, I understand how my business goals are aligned to our mission. I always consider the bigger picture in my decisions. And the last one, I continually act for the benefit of all. So add up your score, and then I'll put these in the group so you can recheck, and gives you a great place to work. And I really, really love those. So thank you, and congratulations on making such an amazing decision.
So eloquent. So good. All right, you guys. So so we're over a bit, but I want to thank you guys for sticking around. I remember when another one of my mentors, Karen's coach, her name's Kim, would work with me, and she used to tell me something. I didn't really understand what she was talking about then, but she says there's going to be an evolution, Jamil, and I had no clue what she was talking about. And she says, you know, when you come into this business, it's sort of all about you. And then there's going to be a shift to where it's about, you know, your coaches. And then she says, for me, where I'm at now, the evolution has really turned to humanity. Like, how can I serve the world? How can I uniquely serve the world? And I didn't understand her back then, but I get it now. So what I do know is this company is a transformational company. And we can bring anyone into this company and watch them literally turn into a different person. Like, that's not a figure of speech. I'm seeing people that were talking this morning who are so completely transformed in a good way than from when I first met them, maybe just years ago. So this is how we can serve the better mankind. We can bring people into this organization. This is why you hear me say that I believe everyone should become a coach. Who gets this sort of training? You think your clients do? You think your clients have ever heard of something talking about lead from the future, act from the now? No, 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 no. This is not taught, but it is within this company. So this is how we can serve the world. And what I know is once people develop these 6 habits, then more than anything, they will become an extremely impressive person. And as we can help cultivate extremely impressive people, then we can help touch the world, because just think if every single person had these philosophies, no matter what race or religion or political background, but they sort of had these philosophies here. This is how we can make this place better. So I want to thank everyone for all of the presenters, for sharing your heart and your wisdom and preparing. This is something that we need to train on often, because it's imperative for us as human beings. But there's no way we can have the organizations that we want. There's absolutely no way we can have the organizations that we want without doing these things. It's impossible. I've tried it all, and I didn't succeed very well until I had to change, and we're just going to have to change. So I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you guys for sticking around. And our action steps for today and for this week is to embrace these habits and to really do the work. I cannot stress it enough. We can sit here and complain and hope things change, but unless we actually do the work and we change, nothing's going to change. The most important thing is to set your intentions and now come back to reality, get out of la-la land and come back to reality and do the simple action steps every single day, no matter what, because we seek growth and we embrace obstacles as a way. Appreciate you guys. I'll put up this playback. Have a great Monday, everyone. Thank you, guys.